Between 1970 and 1977, India faced a period of intense political unrest and economic hardship. This era saw widespread protests, rising inflation, unemployment, and food shortages, all of which put immense pressure on the government. The situation escalated to the point where the very foundation of Indian democracy was challenged. The central event of this crisis was the proclamation of a national emergency in 1975 by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. This move marked the most serious threat to India's democratic order since independence, setting the stage for a dramatic and transformative chapter in the nation's political history. Let's explore what led to this unprecedented crisis. The crisis was fueled by a combination of economic, social, and political factors. High inflation and unemployment, coupled with food shortages and an economic slowdown after the 1971 war, created widespread dissatisfaction. Social unrest erupted, particularly among students and youth in Gujarat and Bihar, who demanded reforms and protested against corruption. Politically, opposition to Indira Gandhi's leadership grew stronger, culminating in a judicial challenge when the Allahabad High Court declared her election invalid in June 1975. These mounting pressures converged, pushing the country to the brink and setting the stage for the declaration of emergency. In 1974, the Gujarat movement erupted against corruption and price rise, eventually forcing the dissolution of the state government. Around the same time, the Bihar movement, led by Jayaprakash Narayan, called for a total revolution, demanding sweeping reforms in politics, education, and society. These movements saw massive participation from students and opposition parties, signaling a nationwide demand for change. The situation intensified when, on June 12, 1975, the Allahabad High Court found Indira Gandhi guilty of electoral malpractice, disqualifying her as MP and PM for 6 years. The opposition demanded her resignation, but she appealed to the Supreme Court, which granted a conditional stay. On June 25, 1975, Indira Gandhi declared a national emergency under Article 352, citing internal disturbance as a threat to national security. President Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed approved the move, leading to the suspension of democratic processes for 21 months. Civil liberties were curtailed, freedom of speech, press, and assembly were suspended. Political opponents, including leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan and Morarji Desai, were arrested. The press faced heavy censorship, and the judiciary was subdued through transfers and pressure. Power became highly centralized in the Prime Minister's office, marking a period of authoritarian rule. During the emergency, the government launched ambitious programs. Indira Gandhi's 20-point program aimed to reduce inflation, increase productivity, and curb corruption. Sanjay Gandhi's 5-point program focused on literacy, tree planting, family planning, abolition of dowry, and cleanliness. While some economic improvements were noted, these achievements were overshadowed by severe civil rights violations, forced sterilization campaigns, slum demolitions in Delhi, and arbitrary arrests under the Maintenance of Internal Security Act created widespread fear and eroded public trust in the government. In January 1977, the emergency was withdrawn and elections were announced. Opposition parties united to form the Janata Party, which won a historic victory in March 1977. The Congress Party suffered a massive defeat, and Morarji Desai became Prime Minister, marking the first non-Congress government at the center. This period reaffirmed the people's faith in democracy and highlighted the importance of checks and balances in governance. The 44th Amendment Act of 1978 further protected citizens' rights and made it harder for any leader to misuse emergency powers. The crisis ultimately strengthened India's democratic institutions and underscored the resilience of its people. Emergency remains a turning point in Indian political history. It tested the strength and resilience of India's democracy, exposed the dangers of centralized and authoritarian rule, and demonstrated that the will of the people is the ultimate power in a democracy. Despite the hardships, India emerged stronger, with a renewed commitment to accountability, freedom, and the rule of law. The lessons learned during this period continue to shape the nation's democratic journey, reminding us that democracy, though vulnerable, can survive even the most severe crises.